Alright, so Samsung Q8FN. You guys requested me to do this video. This video will be recorded in HDR. So Samsung Q8FN, 55-inch, 2018 model from last year. So, Death Stranding, how does it look in HDR? And what picture settings do I recommend for this game? Now, I purposely left everything at the default. Everything looks dimmed. I left everything at a default. So first thing first, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, before we do anything else, let's do the first step. Okay, so what's the first step? Well, here we go. For the love of God, if you have Samsung Q8FN, make sure that you turn off ambient light detection off. Turn that off. Turn that off. All it does, it dims down your picture and your HDR is gonna look like crap. Power saving, you can keep it at medium. That's fine. I have no issue with you leaving a power saving at medium. But for the love of God, don't use ambient light detection. Otherwise, what was the point of you buying a 1500 nits peak brightness, lumens peak brightness light television panel if you're gonna use the ambient light? Turn that sucker off. It's under the Eco solution. Turn it off. That's the first step. Let's move on to the second step. Second step is for you to go to the general settings, click on it, and scroll down where it says External Device Manager. Click on External Device Manager, and you can see on your right side, it tells you exactly what it has there. Okay, it has AnyNet plus HDMI, has game mode settings, and that's what you want. Click on it and click on the game mode settings. Remember, you want to utilize game mode HDR. So you want to keep it on. Keep it on. Turn the game mode on. FreeSync. This thing, the PlayStation doesn't support it, and this really is not going to take any effect because the PlayStation doesn't support the FreeSync. Only the Xbox One X at the moment supports the FreeSync. The PlayStation 4 Pro does not support the FreeSync. So this will not turn on unless your console supports it. Alright? So just leave this alone. Game motion plus settings. If you have to use it, I don't recommend that you use it, but if you have to use it, just listen, guys. Don't use it. Trust me. You don't want this. Turn the sucker off. I'm having second thoughts. Don't use the Game Motion Plus. For the love of God, do not use it. If you want that input lag, heavy input lag, you'll get it. Don't use the Game Motion Plus. Now, once you have the game mode turned on, let's move on to the third step. The third step is for you to move out of the general settings and go up to the picture settings, because now you are under the game mode. There it is. You can see the game mode. It's right there. Click on the picture settings, and now you scroll down where it says expert settings, and on the right side you can see what type of features it has. So let's click on the expert settings. Here we go. Guys, when it comes to the HDR, remember, when it comes to the HDR, it doesn't matter. You have to have backlit set to maximum, and you have to have contrast set to maximum. If you want to take the advantage of HDR, you have to have backlit to maximum and contrast to maximum. That's how you utilize the HDR. The best of HDR and the best that this panel can offer. Brightness, keep it at threshold balanced. Why? Because you don't want to overbright your black digital levels, and you sure as hell don't want to crush your black digital levels. So keep the brightness at 0. Sharpness, keep it at 10, because this is not a native 4K game, it's a checkerboard 4K game, so keep it at 10. Color, keep it at 25. And if you noticed something, you will see that both sharpness and color are left in a balanced level. And that's what we want. Same thing with the brightness, balanced level. Except backlit and contrast, we need to utilize the HDR, we need it at maximum. Moving on to contrast enhancer. A lot of people ask me about a contrast enhancer. Is this really important? Should contrast enhancer be set too high? And the answer is yes, because that's the whole point of HDR, to have the best possible contrast ratio. And that's the whole point of having a local dimming set too high, to also increase the best contrast ratio, because you're going to be using local dimming zones to give you a better ratio between your black digital levels and your white digital levels, so you can have more dynamic of a picture. So yes, this should be set to high, both of these. And it even tells you right there on the right side, if you read it, it even says it to you. Automatically balance the contrast to prevent excessive differences between the bright and dark areas, meaning your contrast ratio, meaning your ratio between your black digital levels and your white digital levels. That's what that means. Color tone, guys, when it comes to the video games, keep it on standard. I've been saying this for years. If you want to enjoy what Hideo Kojima did with this game, or if you want to enjoy games in general, you have to leave it at a standard color tone. Why? Because you don't want your games to look too warm. If they look too yellow, then they're going to look too yellow. If they look too blue, they're going to look too blue. You want to be in between. You want to have a nice representation in each color. So keep it at standard. Standard. Okay? Gamma, it's ST2084. Okay, because we're using HDR. And never mess with the gamma, guys. Unless you want to crush your black digital levels, be my guest. Never mess with the gamma. Leave it at 0. And color space settings, I normally would suggest native. But if you want to use automatic, that's fine. This is a subjective personal preference. I normally would suggest native. But if you want to use automatic, use automatic. That's fine with me. I have no issue with that. Okay? That's fine with me. Now let's move on to the fourth step. We're going to talk about the fourth step here in a minute. Now, this is the fourth step. This game does have HDR settings that you can use, but it only has a luminance brightness, meaning it brightens up the image a little bit. But you don't really need this because you already have backlit and contrast set to maximum, so you don't need to mess around with this. I would suggest that you leave this at 50. And the reason I want you to leave it at 50, it's because we're going to jump onto PlayStation 4 Pro HDR sliders that are built inside the system. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and go to our settings, go down to where it says sound and screen, and then click on the video output settings, and then click here where it says adjust HDR. Click on the adjust HDR, and let's do it. Yes, sir. Here we go. So what is this? This is your your overall brightness of the HDR. Remember, you do not want to overbright your white digital levels. I've seen people do this and the logo disappears. You don't want to do that, because if you do that, what you're doing is you are overblowing. You are overblowing your sky with bright white, you know, blasting color. When you do this, you're also overblowing your white digital levels. And when you overblow your white digital levels, the sky doesn't have a redefined color to it anymore. Okay? Everything looks overblown, as if it's some kind of like supernova explosion. You can't see nothing. The idea is to keep it to a level where it can be defined or redefined. I would suggest leave it a bit grayish dark. Leave it at the grayish dark level. Okay? Like this. Like this, at the grayish dark level. Now here, this is your black digital levels. What do we want to do here? We want to make sure that it's not totally crushed, but visible enough so it looks grayish dark. Like this. Keep it grayish dark like this. Move it like 10 clicks down. Click next. Now here, we want to adjust our paper white a little bit so we can see it just a slightly a little bit, so that our contrast can be visible a little bit better. Okay? Maybe I can adjust my low light so you can see what I'm talking about. Like that. Click done. And there you go. And now you're going to have a much better picture quality. Now we can go back to the game. We're going to go back to the game right now, and you're going to see just how much better it looks. And here we're getting a much better definition of HDR. Now it's a bit cloudy, it's not sunny obviously, but it looks more redefined. Okay, and that's the whole idea. It's for you to see picture in a more natural way. Okay, now you have to remember, this is a LCD television. Okay, and I'm trying to give you the best that I can for the LCD panel. You cannot compare a LCD technology to an OLED emissive technology. Okay, it's like night and day, but this is pretty darn good for an LCD television. Okay, so you have to understand what kind of panel you have, all right, before you can actually adjust the picture settings on it. And it looks great. And again, it's hard to judge. If you're going to judge this video, you cannot judge it by looking at it. The reason I'm doing this video is because I want you guys to try these settings, follow everything I did here step by step. If you have this TV, try it out for yourself. That's the whole point here. It's for me to show you what settings I'm using. Use these settings, try them out, and let me know what you think. Okay? Let me know how it works out for you. Is this better than the OLED? Of course it's not. Is it a little bit brighter than the OLED? Of course it's brighter than the OLED. It should be brighter. Okay? But you guys got to remember, it's not all about the peak brightness. Sure, it plays a huge role in HDR, But there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to HDR. A lot of people think you have to overblow your white digital levels. That's not the idea. If I overblow my white digital levels, guess what, cousin? I won't be able to see the definition of the blue sky here. I won't be able to see nothing. Guess what I'm going to see? Everything's going to be blasting with light. It's going to be overblown. The white digital levels will be overblown. The idea of HDR is to have a balanced, natural, dynamic picture. That's the whole idea of HDR. Okay? So, I think these are the best settings that I can get you at the moment for this game right now currently for QLED, Samsung QLED. Again, don't expect this to be better than your OLED. I have OLED, I mean I have both of these TVs. I have OLED sitting on one side and I got QLED sitting on this side. So I can tell the difference. I see the difference every day. It's easy for me to tell a difference because I have both TVs. Okay? A person who only has a QLED and never tried an OLED, he doesn't know the difference. He can't know. It's impossible for that person to know the difference because he doesn't have both TVs. Okay? So he can't tell the difference. I can tell the difference. And to me, OLED brings a more natural picture quality. But this is not bad. If you have QLED, it's pretty darn good for an LCD panel. Okay? But don't expect it to look like an OLED. Don't expect the contrast ratio to be like an OLED. It ain't happening, cousin. It's just not going to happen. That should be clear. Okay? And that's what I wanted to point out here for everyone. Okay? Here comes the rain. So there you have it. I hope this video helps you out. Please use these settings. Let me know what you think. Please do use them. I would highly suggest that you use them. Try them out and let me know what you think. Okay? Remember, you have to try these settings out for yourself. You know, you can't judge this video without using the settings, okay? What you're seeing on the video, it's totally different than what I'm seeing with my own two eyes in person. So, in order for you to truly appreciate these settings, you have to go ahead and try them out. Follow the steps that I gave you and try them out for yourself, okay? So, I hope that this video helps you out. These are my preference settings that I'm recommending. If you don't like these settings, you don't have to use them. It's that simple. If you don't like them, don't use them. You don't have to use them. Okay? But if you like them, like them. If you don't, you don't. You know? I'm just sharing my recipe with the rest of you here. Alright? That's what this whole thing is about. Alright? So, well, there you have it. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good one, though. Take care. You asked for it, I delivered. Right, Sam. They ask for it, I deliver. Well, it's true. I promised you I was going to do live stream for it. I did. I promised you OLED settings. I promised you QLED settings. Well, there you have it. You asked for it, I delivered. Have a good one, guys. Take care.